people were asking for this meeting with Candace Owens and Erika Kirk, and it was signed, sealed, and delivered. And now we know what took place during that meeting. I got to say this right off the bat. I looked at the live chat for the very first time while Candace was discussing what took place at that meeting. And yeah, some people were not happy with the way that things went. We're going to get into all of that. Now, of course, it all started out with this announcement from Erika Kirk, where she said, Candace Owens and I are meeting for a private in-person discussion on Monday, December 15th. Candace and I have agreed that public discussions, live streams, and tweets are on hold until after this meeting. I look forward to a productive conversation. Thank you. Yeah. Then it was interesting. This whole thing about productive conversation, because people were tracking this like for reals. Okay. Project Constitution was tracking what they believe to be Erika's private jet. So I guess Turning Point has a private jet, like Jesus Christ. And this was cracking me up. They were checking to see when that plane was going to land in Nashville and when it was going to depart from Nashville, so they would know whether or not this conversation had ended. So they even picked up a scheduled departure time. They got the scheduled arrival and estimated departure listed for 4:45 p.m. That's what that is for those who don't know. It's military time. But it was just interesting. People were like, okay. And I think people were waiting to see if Candace was going to go live and have a stream about what took place during that same day, maybe later on that evening. Erika Kirk put out this statement, had a very productive conversation with Candace, more to come from both of us. Looking forward to AmFest this week. Time to get back to work. And people saw this and were like, what does she mean, productive conversation? Right? Candace echoed this sentiment. Erika and I had an extremely productive, there's that word again, 4.5-hour meeting that I think we both feel should have taken place a lot earlier than it did. We agreed much more than I had anticipated. Of course, we also disagreed on various points and people as well. Most importantly, we were able to share intel and clarify intent. I will, of course, have a full rundown for you all tomorrow as I am currently exhausted, but I wanted to quickly let you guys know absolutely nothing was held back, and the immediate result was that tensions were thawed. So some people saw that the other day, and they said, uh-oh, what does this mean? Right? So there's a poll that is linked to my live chat. Make sure you answer that about who you think this conversation actually benefited. And I'll tell you who I think it benefited in the end. So people were kind of waiting around to see, okay, are we going to hear from her? Is she going to tell us, like, what happened? In the meantime, Tim Pool decided to take it upon himself, and he decided to make a quite alarming statement about security. He's basically claiming that this is all for show and that Candace has the same security as Turning Point USA. Listen to this.
Okay. I'll say things that I probably shouldn't say, but I'm going to say, because I always get super heated on this. Candace Owens has the same security team as Turning Point and Charlie Kirk did. She's lying. She has the same security people. I've been digging into this. I've been meeting with people and talking with them, and I shouldn't say too much because there's more that's going to be coming out soon, because rest assured, people are filing legal paperwork against her. Candace has the same security team, or has used the same security companies and the same security personnel as Charlie and Erika did. So when she comes out and is questioning them, she is lying outright. Now, I've invited many of these people to come on. We'll see what happens. We'll see when they can. The issue is, the moment Candace goes on her show to millions of people and lies, litigation begins. And what happens when litigation begins? People don't do interviews about it. She is exploiting this, and she knows she is, to keep people wrapped up in this insanity. Okay, I'll.
Okay, so I was a little bit confused when I saw this because it was just a week ago that Tim Pool said that she doesn't even have security. She has like this unprotected wall, and his words, not mine, one fat guy. So which is it? She has security or she doesn't? Now he's saying she has the same security as Turning Point USA. So Candace did respond to that. You guys have got to see this. It gets kind of nasty. Apparently, Tim Cast is telling his audience that Charlie Kirk's security team is and was the same as my security team. This is complete and utter fiction. Charlie and I never employed the same security company, literally ever. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Of course, Tim Pool did respond. Be specific, Candace. Make sure you're very clear. You never had the same security people working for you that Charlie also used? Question mark. This is where it gets pretty tense. I was clear, bitch. I said that Charlie and I never used the same security people. So your point that I was being a hypocrite by critiquing their actions that day is complete and utter trash. In fact, I regularly critiqued Charlie on his security team, and I'm sure I could dig up a text message or two to that effect. This is where we're at now, folks. This is where we're at now. So it's getting heated. I also saw there was an article published by the New York Post that was putting out smears against Candace earlier today. So it's coming all in, right? There's a lot of attacks that are going on. Now, here's the thing. They made an agreement not to have a live stream, not to discuss this matter while they were meeting, while Erika and Candace were meeting. But Turning Point USA went live and talked about the issue. Listen to some of this.
Blake, happy Monday.
Is it?
Yeah, well,
Happy we got to Monday.
A lot of stuff went down this weekend, not the least of which, I just want to call out the elephant in the room. We had invited Candace Owens to be a part of a live stream today on this show, later today after our live show. She, of course, declined to show up in person. And then over the weekend, Erika Kirk announced that she's going to be meeting privately. And so with her. And so
sometime today.
And so per that tweet, she said basically all live streams, public discussions, and tweets are on hold until after this meeting.
We'll see what unfolds.
So we will see what unfolds. We are prepped, ready, either way. So that's basically where we're going to leave that discussion.
But they don't leave it.
You know, we're actually going to have Paramount Tactical, Gary Melton, on the show at the halfway point in this hour. We're going to just talk about some of the.
We're going to have two different guests, I believe. Just talking about
Viva Fry is going to come on and talk about why he believes Tyler is the shooter. He's going to go through some of the evidence, and he's also going to talk about his own little sort of spats and squabbles on social media. And then we are gonna, like I said, Gary Melton from Paramount Tactical, ballistics expert. He's also visited the campus of UVU since and retraced the steps of Tyler Robinson. All that and more will happen today. And then we're going to get into how Charlie was kind of a modern day It's a Wonderful Life. All right, without further ado.
So they brought that guy on. So it was really weird. Again, like I thought there wasn't supposed to be conversations about that the same day that Candace and Erika were meeting. And people say, well, maybe it was just Erika and Candace not having conversation. I don't know. Erika said TPUSA is fam. I mean, that's the fam. I thought it wasn't supposed to be discussed. I thought that was the point of it. So I thought that was kind of sneaky for them to do. Now, going into this, after that meeting happened, there were a lot of people on social media asking if Candace Owens was alive. I kid you not. They were like, is she alive? No one has heard from her. We're watching the plane to see if Erika actually landed. Like, this is what was happening the other night. So she did put out a message here on, I think this was IG.
4.5 hours later, I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm totally fine. And I'm sorry. I was going to do a show for you guys this evening, but I am truly exhausted. Very productive conversation. I asked every single question. I mean, from Egyptian planes to Turning Point USA Faith. And I was very surprised by some of the answers that I got. And I think they were also very surprised when I shared certain intel. This probably should have happened a very long time ago, but I wanted to let you guys know that I am alive, and I will have the full rundown for you guys tomorrow of what transpired. And yeah, I think it was definitely a very big step in the right direction. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Then this made some people wonder, what was this step in the right direction that she was referring to? So she did go live, and I do want to show you guys what was discussed. Let's just go back here. I do want to say, first and foremost, pull this here. Some people are not happy. Some people are not happy with what was said. And we're going to talk about some of it on here. Let me come out of here. Eric, can we get rid of the live chat on that video? Do we need to refresh it? Oh, I'll do it. Sorry. Okay. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Some people were not happy. Getting into this, I have to say, something was off. Watching this, at least this part of the live stream where she talks about what was discussed, it almost seemed like Candace came across as somewhat nervous. It didn't seem like, I don't know, something just felt off. Let's get into it. I'll show you guys so you can see it for yourself here. Let me just jump forward a little bit here. Let's go ahead and bring this in.
Their answer for that was, hey, that was a really crazy time. A new system had to be put into place, and by no means did Erika give any person the authority to go out and say that the Catholicism thing was a lie. It kind of turned into this big thing. Whatever. Okay, that kind of obviously was not the meat of the reason that we wanted to sit down. I will say I was immediately refreshed by the fact that one of the first things that Erika did was she owned the lies, or rather, I guess they would cage it as miscommunications that were coming from various people at the company. Like, look, this is a company with 650 people that are employed. Everybody at this time is exceedingly emotional, and they are communicating. And no matter what somebody says on Twitter, they assume that this communication has come down from management, and that's not always a circumstance. But they owned right away, which felt great, that if you guys recall, Erika sat down with Glenn Beck. I actually missed this portion because I didn't get to watch the interview in its entirety, and we were pulling clips because a lot was coming out very quickly. But there was a portion that was going around that was viral, and it was Erika saying that she had Charlie's phone and that Charlie never texted anybody the night before saying that he thought that they were going to kill him. And that obviously reflected poorly on me because I was the one who said that he did, in fact, text multiple people the night before. And then I went on Jimmy Dore on Friday, Jimmy Dore's show, and I clarified. I said, Andrew Colvett told me specifically that he was one of the people that received this text message. So I got that first person. I didn't get that from a source. I got that directly from Andrew Colvett. And then somebody who had access to Dan Flood's communications said that Dan Flood similarly received a text message. They owned that right away and explained. Erika said that she has Charlie's phone. She's looking at his iMessages. And it turns out that he, like everybody else, communicates on Signal. He communicates on Telegram. And that those when she heard me say that, they then went and looked. And yes, that what I said was true. Andrew Colvett received a message the night before, and Dan Flood received a message the night before. Now, they asked me if I had actually like a concrete a copy of what Dan Flood got the night before. And I said, no. Somebody told me what it said, which was almost exactly what Andrew said, which is they're going to kill me. Andrew did not know who they were, that the they that he was referring to were, but they clarified that the message that Dan Flood received said the left is going to kill me. So I can't confirm that one way or the other. I have to trust them on that because I did not see that concrete message. I was told that it said they.
We're going to pause right here. Yeah. So here's the thing, right? This text message that happened that said that, or Charlie saying that they were going to kill him or whatever. I've used Signal before in the past as well. I find it very strange that Andrew Colvett knew that, but Charlie didn't tell his wife, Erika, that. Like never once ever mentioned his concern about. What was weird to me with this stream here is that it seemed like Candace was willing to trust what Erika said. And of course, some of the people that came with Erika, because Erika wasn't by herself and Candace wasn't by herself. Like she had her team, Erika had her team. It seemed like she was willing to trust what they said. And I think it's important to know that 99.9% of the time, if it comes down to someone protecting their business or doing the moral right thing, 99.9% of the time, they're going to protect the business. So what was weird to me, I can't speak for everybody else, but what was weird to me is that she was willing to trust what they said. Because to me, that's just weird. That's just weird. That he would say this to Andrew, but he wouldn't say it to his wife. So I don't trust the organization. I don't think anybody should. I'm skeptical about every damn body. I'll tell you guys. I don't trust the organization. These people are going to protect their brand. Erika is going to protect Turning Point USA. She's now the CEO. Andrew Colvett and all of them are going to protect that organization and that brand. That's what they're getting paid to do. That's their bread and butter. They're going to protect it. Hell, these people flying on private jets. I'm over here like, what the fuck? Because we don't have it like that on the left. I'll tell you that. I'll be very upfront with you. We ain't flying on no private jets. Okay? I take Amtrak to New York. When I go to New York, I take the train. I'm not bougie at all. I'll just keep it real. We do not have it like that. So if they have private jets, then these people have a lot of money. These organizations have a lot of money. They are always going to protect the business. Let's continue on.
Now, obviously, we discussed the moment, and I'm laughing here because you TikTokers are actually out of control. You guys are going to be the reason that Israel gets TikTok because you guys are acting a fool all the time. And the videos were so hilarious of you guys mocking the Barry Weiss interview. It's great. It's good to laugh at ourselves. And Barry Weiss is always worth laughing at. But I was sort of like, hey, I felt name checked by the podcaster, Candace Owens, this obvious setup, and then asking me to stop. And it's interesting to hear Erika say that the reason she didn't ask me to stop in the beginning, because she was actually learning things from the show. She was actually learning things, and that I think she similarly felt that Barry Weiss was trying to create a moment. Obviously, it's who Barry Weiss is. It's the Zionist lobby. She's trying to right perceived wrongs because I'm against her side. That does not surprise me. That's kind of why Barry Weiss exists. That's the reason they put her at CBS, is because she's just committed to stacking the audience with people that are going to present the pro-Israel cause and talk about anti-Semitism and talk about like crime being on the rise. It's kind of an embarrassment, but I actually do accept that. And I should also clarify that Barry Weiss obviously picked those questions. They were not random, like I told you. It wasn't like people were coming to the mic and it was an open mic and they didn't know what they were going to get. It was all very much planned by Barry. But Erika said that she knew the general idea, like they were going to mention me and mention the conspiracies, but she was not given that specific, the podcaster, Candace Owens, question. So
yeah, man. She sounds nervous to me. So here's the thing. A lot of times when these people, when they have these interviews, people like Erika Kirk, etc., Sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze. A lot of times they already have the questions ahead of time. It's no different from like Kamala and a lot of them, like they'll already have the questions ahead of time. So she said that Erika told her that she knew the general things, but she knew that Candace's name would be mentioned, she would be discussed, but she didn't know that Barry Weiss was going to ask that question that way, the podcaster Candace Owens. But come on. So Erika knowing Barry Weiss is very messy. Very messy. Erika knew that Candace was going to come up. So if she knew that Candace was going to come up, which according to Candace, she told her that, what else did she think Barry Weiss was going to ask her about Candace? What else did she think was going to come from that? Of course, she was going to ask her about what Candace is saying on her podcast about it. So to me, it's just, I don't know, man. The way that this kind of came across, especially right here in the beginning, I think the reason why some people are upset is because they're like, it seems like she's trying to defend or protect Erika, but more so believe her. And I just don't believe these motherfuckers. Like, I'm over here like, I don't trust none of the, I just don't believe it. I don't believe. Because like I said, people are going to protect their business. They're going to protect their brand at all costs. They don't give a damn. And Erika, listen, this is someone who she was in beauty pageants. You guys know like how much like people who have been in the pageant industry, how much they're trained and how much they practice to walk across that stage and to say things in such a way that will help them win like an award. People think the pageant business is just someone putting on a dress or a bathing suit and just strutting across the stage. No. There's years of practice that go into that. And you have to be able to convince a panel of judges, right? I mean, Erika was also on a reality show. She's been in music videos. She's done a little bit of modeling. Like these people, I don't think Erika Kirk is stupid. I think this Erika Kirk is very smart. So let's go on.
I think that's fair to clear that up. Now, I did not at all recant any of my suspicions, and I understand people disagree with me about particular people at Turning Point USA. I communicated what I communicated in front of the whole world. My skin crawled after I spoke to Terrell Farnsworth, the person who took the cameras down. He lied to me several times. I explained to them, which felt good to have that direct communication, how Terrell lied multiple times and that I did not understand why he was there that day. They echoed what he said. They defended what he said, that they were trying something new that day, that they typically live stream, which is what Terrell said. They typically live stream. And I said, every college event. Well, they said, well, yeah, they live stream the events that are tour stops, but they don't live stream like the outside prove me wrong type events. And that was something that was new and it required Terrell. And I said, even if that was all real, if that was all true, I still didn't feel good about the conversation that I had with Terrell. And I can't ignore my gut about the many little lies that he told. I thought the video he recorded was weird. I know he comes from a very powerful family. I personally do not trust him. And I obviously do not like the fact that I said, Tyler Boyer lied about this thing and came up with an excuse and said, well, Terrell was asked to take the camera down. That's the reason, he said on Twitter, because the police wanted him to take it down and secure the footage. And I said, I know that's not true. And they said, well, after all of that, after he took the cameras down, there was a police officer or Fed, whoever it was, that spoke to him and asked him to secure the footage. Well, that makes sense, but it's not a reason for why he took it down immediately. It makes sense that as you're investigating, you're going to say, who's got the footage? Let's lock it down. But it didn't make sense to me that Tyler Boyer lied about it. And I don't trust Tyler Boyer. And that is never going to change. Similarly with Rob McCoy, he makes my skin crawl. I can't explain it. I look at him and he's a bad person and nobody can make me feel one way or the other about that. I was surprised to learn, and this is kind of gets into, I guess, us not knowing the inner workings at Turning Point USA, that Rob McCoy actually does not work with Turning Point USA in any capacity whatsoever. And so him communicating as he has done, like, I'm the pastor, I'm this, I'm that, it's just not real. Like, that is not real. And we should know that that's not real. And when he says that, call him out on that separately. from Turning Point USA. I was operating under the assumption that he worked for Turning Point USA. And I said, if obviously that's wrong, I'm happy to correct that. But also, what were we to assume when he hit the stage at the memorial and said, I'm America's pastor, and then had the Wikipedia updated and said, well, I'm assuming he had it updated because who else would do that he started Turning Point USA Faith. So I guess to be clear, we were just wrong about that. And I will have a lot more to say about Rob McCoy and where I believe he fits into a lot of things. So I'm not letting up on that. Now, one piece of this where I was...
Pause here. I think Rob McCoy is even more suspicious. Angela said, yes, but Erika wasn't a pageant chick. She entered her first pageant and won. Yeah, that's even more suspect. I mean, it just... I know people that have been in the pageant like business, and a lot of them started particularly young, and it's just to come out of nowhere. I mean, that makes it even worse. But these people were a part of the talent industry. They were in the entertainment talent industry, right? So that's just something to keep in mind. Let's continue on.
I still don't understand it. And the magic bullet. Okay. Now, we all recall what happened. I casually say on the show, hey, I saw the footage. There was no blood. And honestly, when I said it, I didn't process how big of a deal that was with the 30-06. Very quickly, what happens is Andrew Colvett whips up this tweet about what happened with the bullet. And he said he wanted to address all the discussion that was being had about the online chatter. I'm obviously paraphrasing here. He says, I apologize. It's going to get graphic, but he spoke with the surgeon. The bullet should have gone through. The surgeon then explained that what he's typically seen on these wounds, and basically this was all a miracle. Charlie saved lives, even in death. And the internet clocked it, this miracle, the healthy bone. His bone was so healthy and the density was so impressive. Like, this is a quote, by the way. His bone was so healthy. I want to read it. This is allegedly from a surgeon. Quote, his bone was so healthy and the density was so impressive that he's like the man of steel. It should have gone through and through. It likely would have killed those standing behind him too. And we were just like, eek. That kind of was like the beginning of the WTF, right? I feel like that was kind of the beginning of it. And immediately people in the comments responded to Andrew, and he said, this individual said, this post is so fake as it would violate HIPAA. Like, there's patient privacy. You can't just call up the surgeon. And then Andrew Colvett replies and says, rest assured, I would not have posted without full permission. Now, he said he spoke to the surgeon, and they confirmed that Andrew spoke to the surgeon, but that they did not know that he was going to write that tweet. They did not know that he called up the surgeon. So like, it very much came across to be like Andrew was just flying by the seat of his pants. I don't know. Like, he was just flying dark on me. And I was like,
so it's like, why believe Andrew Colvett now, right? So here's the other thing I want to point out. It seems like she's toned it down. It seems like her demeanor has toned down. Like, now she's, it seems her words are a little bit more softer than they were before. So we may never know everything that was said during that conversation between her and Erika, but I noticed a difference with this stream compared to some of the other ones where she was digging into the Charlie Kirk investigation. And I think other people noticed it as well. At first, like I said, she seemed a little nervous, but also her tone is subdued. Let me go on.
Like, that seems very strange to me, because why would a surgeon do that? Like, the first thing the surgeon should say is, I can't speak to you. I don't even know, in theory, Andrew wasn't even there when Charlie died. I don't even know why the surgeon even knows this guy, actually. Maybe he hung around after, but, Andrew was not one of the people that got into the hospital or anything like that. So this is quite literally the PR guy who's calling the surgeon. And so that just seems very inappropriate for a person to do, period. And I would say it was kind of the beginning, but that was what I got from that. Now, obviously, we discussed the security. I brought up Brian Harpole, this interview with Sean Ryan, and I think we can believe Turning Point when they say that they did not approve of this. They had no idea he was going on Sean Ryan. I think that's pretty clear. I don't believe he works there anymore. So that was kind of him, just getting out there and perhaps trying to rescue his own reputation. And I think that only made his reputation worse, actually, because people rightfully sensed that he wasn't telling the truth in that interview, that he was being cagey, that he was saying things that didn't make any sense. Again, you constantly have these people that believe, like Brian Harple, that with enough performance, he can sit down and you're just going to convince people that this is real. And this is just a different time. Like I said, these TikTokers are out of control. They will check you in 4 seconds. Okay.
So this is the same organization, Turning Point USA, that I reported on. One of their staffers, her name is Jeanette. She's also a part of city council. One of their staffers right now has a lawsuit against them for sexual harassment, which came from another employee, a male employee, and kidnapping of his 14-year-old girl, allegedly. This is why I say you cannot. I don't think anybody should be trusting the organization. Period. Just it should be no trust there. But this is the same organization. Are they talking about like this lawsuit? I mean, this is a pretty big deal. Somebody like sues you for kidnapping and sexual harassment.
Things that the biggest piece of this that I want to communicate, and that I did communicate to them, and I hope that they took me seriously on this, or that, rather that they take my strong advice on this. I said one of the reasons why I really want to sit down is because I want to walk out of here and feel confident saying to my audience, hey, like there's stuff going on behind the scenes, but Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk. Like that more will come out, but you can take it from me that this is what happened. I was looking to achieve that because there's been a lot of signaling from various people, some people who are experts, some people who have been involved in cases, that there's obviously going to be stuff that the public does not have access to. And so it is at least plausible that they have seen very clear footage that we've been asking for of Tyler Robinson getting up there and taking the shot. Like they have access to UVU camera. So I was hoping to hear that. And I said that I want to hear why people feel so confident at Turning Point USA that Tyler Robinson is the guy.
This is where some people crashed out. I did see, I mean, the chat moved really fast, but I did see in the chat this is where some people started to say, like, what do you mean you want them to prove that, you know, Tyler Robinson is the guy, is the shooter or whatever. So some people didn't stick around for this next part, but apparently she did speak to Erika's lawyer, apparently also with this meeting. And I want you guys to listen to this. This is very telling.
And at this point, they elected to call the lawyer, like, you know, their lawyer who is involved in this case, one of the lawyers that's involved in this case. There's always a team of lawyers, especially for something like this. And what I got from the lawyer did not make me feel that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk. It did not make me feel confident that he didn't or did shoot Charlie Kirk. I was very surprised by this. He spoke a very long time. I asked, you know, can you share with me what it is? And I said, when you share this with me, I will not say what that thing is. If we want to protect the integrity of the case, I'm not going to, if you say we've got the footage of him taking a shot, I promise I won't say that to the audience, but I will communicate to them that you have something that is solid. And no, to the exact contrary, this guy effectively said, not effectively, he said that they have nothing but the affidavit.
So to that point, that was one of the parts that I really wanted you guys to hear, the part about Tyler Robinson. So when Erika Kirk said that she's seen the evidence, she's seen the autopsy and everything, she said, like, it's him. He did it. Tyler Robinson did it. You know, when you speak like that, it can give people the impression that you have information that the rest of us have not seen. According to Candace at this meeting, she had the opportunity to speak to the lawyer, and all they have is the affidavit, which is the same thing that we saw. The video that we saw is the same video that they saw. So that being said, it makes it even more suspicious that Erika believes the FBI narrative. It's one thing if you got something else behind the scenes there that the rest of the public doesn't have, but you basically have the same thing that we had. You saw the same videos that we saw. You saw the same, dude on the roof with no gun in his hand that we saw. So that is why I say I don't trust none of these motherfuckers. Because at the end of the day, you cannot sit there during an interview, which Erika has done multiple times, and say basically without a shadow of a doubt that you know for certain that this is the person who did this, or that this person did not have any assistance or whatever, whether it's intel, yada, yada. You cannot sit up there and say that you know this for certain, and you saw the same things that we saw. That makes no sense to me. That's why I said, you guys, this does not make any sense. So now that we know that they don't have anything else that we haven't already seen, does everybody see that the gig is up? Everybody get what's going on now? So why was Erika Kirk so willing to not even open her ear and listen to what could have happened, to other information? Why was she not willing to hear that? Why did she say to Barry Weiss, stop? Why did she give the evil googly eyes? Why did she say it's sick, and all these types of things? Why did she do that if she didn't have extra information? The gig is up. That's why I said again. So listen to this part.
Okay. So what we have seen is what they have. What is being discussed publicly. You are this whole like non-expert problem with like, well, you don't know. It's like what you read, his messages that don't have any dates on it. Tyler Robinson writing out everything in the clean alibi. That's what they have. And what he explained to me was that that's the affidavit stage. That's where it's at. And then what takes place now is the investigation is ongoing, right? So right now they're looking for more information. And once investigators, they could very well have obviously footage. And that is why they might feel that, oh, we're definitely gonna get this prosecution. But the reality is they don't actually share that information with the victim. They don't share that information with Erika. They don't, in this part of the process, they will not know what investigators have discovered. This is what the lawyer told me until May. Okay. They have not seen anything that you have not seen, is what I want you to know. So with that in mind, I'm sitting here going, why are you signaling? Why do I feel like the public's being gaslit on this? There's been nothing that's convincing. There are so many commentators who have gone out and said to you, it's overwhelming. The evidence is overwhelming. The text messages that don't have a date, that don't even sound real, that's overwhelming. That to me feels really fake and gay. I really do.
Yeah, she toned it down. Candace has toned it down. We all know how intel works now. We all know how these agencies work. Like they're not always going to tell you everything. But what is weird, and I think what some people are pointing to, is why is she even trusting the narrative and all these types of things that they're saying now? Like I said, 99.9% of the time, if it comes down to protecting the business or protecting morality, most of the time, people are going to do what they can to protect the business, right? Erika is not going to put herself in a position in front of Candace, I guess, and also in front of her team, that is going to threaten Turning Point USA in any type of way. It's a little bit different for Candace, right? Because she's not a part of Turning Point USA. She has her show that she does from her space, and she doesn't have a whole business organization that she's the CEO of, and a team and all these people that have salaries and all this type of stuff. I mean, yeah, she has a team that works with her, but you get what I'm saying. She doesn't have a business like Turning Point USA, where her mission is to build and grow. Erika made that very clear. She's like, we want to build, we want to grow. You can't build and grow if you have this dark cloud hanging over your organization. So it is Erika's job as the CEO to go out there and to put the organization on good footing and to make sure that the organization looks well, especially to donors and also to the public that they're trying to recruit. And you can't do that. You can't do that if people have these views coming out about your organization. One of the things Candace said at the very beginning of this live stream is that they weren't happy when Candace told people not to donate money to TPUSA or to ask for a refund. That really pissed them off. Yeah, because that's money. Because now you messing with their business. Like I said, follow the money. Follow the money.
Do want to say that to every commentator that is out there trying to tell the public and insisting that if you say it enough times to become real, you're actually just being dishonest. And I offered that a more honest way to communicate would be to say, we think he's involved. We feel strongly. I've said that. I think he's involved. We are very hopeful that throughout this investigation, we are going to get that concrete thing. And that's where we're at right now. That's just the stage that we are at. That is not what we are getting from them. That is like, I just feel like that's really important to let you guys know, let the gaslighting stop. They have what you have. Okay. There is nothing else. They are in an investigative stage. Erika has been named as the victim. They will know more in this May hearing, which is the probable cause hearing. That's what the lawyer told me. It's a probable cause hearing. And that's when they will see the evidence. That's when they get to present the evidence, why they are going to stand there before a judge and be like, yes, we need to move this forward. It's not just an affidavit. We're not pulling together scraps. We have concrete evidence.
But why didn't Erika say this already? Erika could have said this in a number of her interviews. If she didn't want to say it there, she could have explained this on the Charlie Kirk show, which they are now, all a part of. They could have explained this on the Charlie Kirk show as well. So why wasn't that? I mean, you can't say, well, they didn't want the public to know. Candace is talking about it right now. There were over 300,000 people watching Candace live. So the information is getting out there anyway. So why didn't Erika Kirk and the rest of them, Andrew Colvin and all of them, why didn't they say this a couple months ago or a week ago or 2 weeks ago? Why didn't they say it? Why are you just hearing about it now after this private meeting with Candace and Erika and Candace mentioned it on her live stream? Does everybody see what I'm talking about? Let's go back to the part about the money, because I want people to hear this part.
Can't Turning Point USA just answer basic questions. And I can tell you guys that yesterday for 4 hours and 30 minutes, there were no rules. They said you can ask us any question that you want, anything that's on your mind, which I appreciated. And some of you guys are thinking, who is they? Who is they? It's the Jews, obviously. Just kidding. It's Justin Strife. Justin Strife was in the room. It was just Justin Strife and Erika. George joined me just for the beginning portion of the conversation because he had that thing going on that I told you on the 15th all day. He was in a conference. And then I brought my cousin Mia, the one that has a really bad attitude. I just bring her there for vibes. I think it just confuses people. They're like, I don't understand what's this person doing here. And the reality is she's like always just listening to Cardi B music. But she's my cousin and I always have her around. And so that was it. She was kind of sitting a little bit away, but at the table, it was really just the four of us until George left. And I will be honest, I did not know what to expect going into the room. I did not know if they were going to be open. I didn't know what Erika's energy was going to be like, if it was going to be more of an argument, if there was going to be legal threats. You guys were telling me not to drink water, so I didn't drink water. Well, I brought my own water, but I didn't drink that water too. It was a lot. There's a lot going on, okay? And the conversation started with Justin Strife very sensibly saying, what are we looking to accomplish here? Like, what is the actual aim of this conversation? And he was pretty clear, and Erika was very clear, that they were sort of most upset with what obviously a bit of a fever pitch, what I tweeted, that it was a God-forsaken company and people should not give money to it. And I have to own that. That's aggressive. That is actually aggressive in the retrospect. I was very frustrated. And I don't know, I felt like we weren't getting any answers and there were so many lies. And then I was getting attacked for asking all meaningful questions that was within their capacity to answer. And I told you, I definitely, my problem in life is that I can rise to anger very quickly. I shared with them that I've really felt Like I was under attack for telling the truth from the very beginning. Like,
so this is what I was saying about it seems like it's softened. The tone has changed, right? So right out the gate, they were not happy because she told people not to donate to them, to ask for a refund. She called out the business, right? So that affects money. This all goes back to money, right? So what I don't understand, like this part right here, what Candace goes, well, yeah, I have to admit that was a bit aggressive. Nah, I would own that shit. I wouldn't feel bad about that at all. Because I'm not going to, like, for me, if I tell you, do not donate to these people, do not give money to this, da 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 da. No, I mean that with every bit and every ounce of my body. I'm not going to come back to you and say, yeah, that was kind of aggressive. It was meant to be. This is the part, the way it started off was kind of weird. Like, you don't have to apologize, because it kind of sounds like an apology. You don't have to apologize for telling people not to donate to that business. So, like I said, we may never know everything that was said during that conversation. But the first thing that's mentioned is the money. And there you go. I also don't have a problem with people being aggressive, but that's just me. Sometimes you have to be aggressive, especially about certain issues. But if it's the one thing I would say not to apologize for, or say, well, yeah, that's a little great. It's that. It's the money. Because I wouldn't have said that at all. Some people saw that and they were not happy. Like I'm telling you guys, can we see the chat now? I don't think we can now. Let's see.
casually, when I mentioned the Catholicism.
One thing that was mentioned, she said Catholicism, because we're not gonna watch the whole thing. But one thing that was mentioned was the Catholicism part, where she did say that that Charlie was pursuing, looking into Catholicism, right? And that seemed to be confirmed. Now, she couldn't confirm whether or not he was converting, but she did say that, yes, he was interested in that. So that's interesting to note as well. But let's see, can we see is it gone? Because sometimes I know, like, you can and sometimes you can't. I see comments, but not the live chat. Okay, so maybe the live chat is disabled. Oh boy, the comments. Oh boy. The number one sign of manipulation is confusion. The truth is like a solid sound brick. Ned said, and I hate to say it, Candace, but you sound like a kid who just came out of the principal's office, is now casually shrugging and telling her friends outside it was no big deal. Maybe that's a good way to describe it. When I said she seemed kind of nervous, maybe it was kind of like this, like it's no big deal. It feels like it's no big deal. Oh boy. Oh boy. I don't know if I want to even look through. Adajar said, I can't believe she said absolutely nothing new and didn't even mention what Erika's response were in regards to their continuous shady attitudes at TPUSA. I tried to watch this episode with an open mind. I truly did. I can't believe she's that naive. She can't be. Megyn Kelly is not your friend. She's not neutral. She's screaming at her audience that there's a ton of evidence that she's seen that proves Tyler Robinson is guilty. Okay, well, you guys can look at that at your own time. The comments are wild, but here it is, signed, sealed, and delivered. Now, she said during the stream she's going to continue looking into this and talking about it, but the tone definitely did change. It does seem like she calmed her tone down a bit, and I think that says something, right? So like I said, we may never know everything that was said during that conversation. I did ask you guys about this via poll. Eric, do we have that poll so we can show? I'm curious. The question that I did ask is who benefited from this conversation? Like, who do you thought benefited? I'll tell you who I thought it was, but I want to see your responses first. Okay, let's see. We have over 4,043 votes. Who benefits from Candace and Erika's talk? 31% said Erika Kirk and TPUSA. 17% said Candace Owens. 32% said both of them. And 20% said no one. So the largest percentage was both of them, followed by Erika and TPUSA. Yeah. I said that I think Erika and TPUSA benefited from it because it seemed like, and I made my decision after I saw, her stream, but I made my decision then, and I said like it kind of felt like she was proven right, you know, on things. Like she talked about the Egyptian planes and stuff like that too. She was proven right on things, but they weren't, I don't know how to say it. It's not like they weren't disproven, but they weren't really exposed. Like, I don't know. Like it's the information. It seems like it's not something that's going to cause people to go, oh my God, like this organization is corrupt. And that's what I want us to think about, corruption, right? So I didn't come away from it feeling that way. I didn't come away from it feeling that people are going to say, oh my God, TPUSA is corrupt and just abandon all of that. And it almost kind of seemed like, in a way, that walking it back, that statement that Candace said at the beginning, that she came across aggressive, it almost seemed as like it was a coordinated effort to protect the business on both sides. That's my take on it. Let me know what you think. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.